I'm not going to tell you how to get published. How would I know? I don't have a clue where you are or who you are. If you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Katri and this is Protagonist Crafts, the place for people who are kind of obsessed with the whole writing thing. And no, we're not sponsored by, I don't know if you can see it, not sponsored by 7up. The problem when you're talking about publishing when you're on the internet like I am, yes, this isn't a real room, it's just pixels, is that there's more than one country in the world. That's generally a good thing, mind you. I like the concept of countries. It just means that publishing works differently depending on where you are. Much of the English-speaking internet is American though, which is obvious when you want to learn about getting published online. Not published online, but learning online about getting published. Anyway, it would be easy to assume that how they do it, the United Statesians, is the norm. I've heard of pitch wars, and I assume it means that you put a handful of writers in the same room and then they beat the shit out of each other until the winner gets published. Oh wait, is that the plot to Hunger Games? Or is it what happened with Stanley Cups? I don't know. Moving on. If you're not from the US or you don't want to get published there, things might work a little differently for you. If you don't know how because you don't have any friends or family who have been published, just Google it. What else would you do? Where I'm from, publishers actually accept unsolicited manuscripts from writers. I don't know if they secretly want you to include a cover letter, but usually they're like, send your manuscript as a PDF file here and don't forget your contact details. Now that I think about it, I don't actually hang out with other published authors, so I don't know how successful this method is or if you actually need connections and nobody tells you. Anyway, I suspect there's lots of smaller countries that also work this way, but if you're in the UK or in the US, you're going to need an agent. An agent takes you under their wing and they help you find the right publisher for your novel, and they often even have a hand in editing your novel for the better. You don't just need a great story to get an agent. You need the right kind of story for the right kind of agent, because not every agent represents every genre. If you want to find an agent in a different country, you need to see what the agency's website says about international clients. When I was going through this process, I found that most agencies were polite about it, but on one website was like, if you're from the US, Canada, or mainland Europe, send your manuscript to an agent in your own country and not to us. I mean, fair, but I don't know, the just word was kind of rude. Anyway, I digress, which is something I do a lot in my videos. Welcome to my channel. Thinking about getting published in a different country shouldn't be something you think about just because you couldn't get published in your own country, at least not without making some changes to your manuscript. It's not like those other countries are going to be easier to get published in. It's difficult and competitive everywhere. But maybe instead you think it would be better received in that country, or maybe you've written your manuscript in that country's language. As for me, I like writing stories that take place in the UK. I just do. It's a familiar landscape inside my mind. The books that I've found are popular in my country, written by people from my country, about my country, that's Finland by the way, in case I forget to mention it, they usually seem to be crime fiction or it's historical fiction about normal people doing normal things. And every time I grab a contemporary novel, it's about divorce or domestic violence. I'm not criticizing these authors, not in the least, but that's just a sort of generalized look into what actually sells in my country. If you're writing something that doesn't sell, you're not going to get published. And if you're writing in a language that only 5 million people speak, your market is going to be a lot smaller and you're going to have to go a lot more general and think a lot more about the things that do sell. Are you also a writer from a smaller country with a language that not that many people speak globally? If you are, let me know in the comments where you're from. So I started writing What Birds Are Made Of in 2018, and I finished writing it in 2021, and I sent it off to a few publishers and then to a few more 6 months later. Crickets, I tell you, which is fine because I was busy working on Protagonist Crafts anyway. But in the meantime, I struggled to commit to a different novel and I just couldn't let this story go, and I started to wonder if I could get it published somewhere other than in Finland. So in 2023, I started reworking that novel. And, I have this funny habit that I like to write my first drafts in English rather than in Finnish because it sort of bypasses the part of my brain where I go like, oh, I can't use that word. That sounds stupid. And I can just get the story on page without having to overthink anything. So that's why I already had a manuscript written in English that had gone through structural editing. So I didn't need to start from scratch when I wanted to pursue publishing in the UK. I changed the point of view of the story from third person intimate to first person because I just felt like that served the story better and I was better at writing in that point of view now. And I changed and deleted a few things that I realized now were unnecessary and kind of overly sentimental. So now in 2024, I had a lot stronger manuscript in my hand and I wasn't just trying my luck with something that had already been rejected. So I queried 10 different agents in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still yet to hear from 9 of them. And I don't know if this was the reason of my lightning speed rejection from the first one, but whatever. Wherever it is that you're thinking of querying your novel, be prepared that it's going to take a lot longer than you think. So I had a synopsis and a cover letter written in advance. But if you have a 2-page PDF synopsis written in line height of 1.15, admittedly a little too long, and then an agent wants a Word document with a line height of 1.5 and just 1 page, then I think you realize that you're going to have to do a lot of changes. Fortunately, Google Docs is great for exporting different file types, but then if you need to move a larger document there, you might run into formatting issues, and again, that's just more work. You're sending some emails, why is it taking so long? That's not even taking into account that you need to tailor your query letter or cover letter for each person that you're going to approach. They might want to hear different things from you, and you might want to emphasize different aspects of your novel to different people. It rarely took me less than an hour to send out a query, and in one occasion it took me more than 2 hours. Again, it's just an email. And yes, it's absolutely crucial that you follow submission guidelines, even if it goes something like this. Hi, I wrote a novel and I'm looking for an agent. That's great, I'm an agent. Just give me your cover letter, your synopsis, and the 3 first chapters of your book. Done. Here you go. Thank you. I want the same, except I only accept Word documents and not PDF files. Converted! Here you go. Well, I need every other word of your cover letter to be written in Comic Sans, except for words that start with an E. Those need to be in Times New Roman.
Yes, I need you to mime your synopsis for me.
Oh, I'm fine with PDF files. Oh, great. Hey, I just need you to include a list of 10 authors who have debuted between 2009 and 2013 and who have the same favorite breakfast cereal as you do. So anyway, wherever it is that you're wanting to get published, I'm wishing you the strength to keep going as your edits, to make your novel a complete knockout. And I'm wishing you good luck in the jungles of querying different agents and publishers. And if you're not quite there yet, maybe watch this video. Da, 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 da.